Welcome back. It's exactly 9:40 a.m. and we are given to understand that there are going to be major changes to company law. And highlighting the Companies Act Amendments seminar is going to be happening tomorrow. That's Wednesday, the 12th of February. And this will take place at the Al Baraka Bank Auditorium in Kingsmead Office Park, Durban. It starts at 7:45 a.m. And of course, at 8:30, registration is 7:45. The actual event will start at 8:30. We are also told that this seminar is a must attend for accountants, lawyers, and company secretaries who need to stay ahead of the latest regulatory changes in corporate law. So, to talk to us about this is legal expert specializing in mergers and acquisitions, private equity banking, and corporate governance, Andrew Davidson. A very good morning to you. Welcome to the program. I
Good.
see you are a partner. Sorry for that. I just wanted to
Yes.
full introduction. You are a partner at Bowman's. So welcome.
Yeah. Good morning, Julie. How are you?
I'm very good. Thank you.
Good.
Major changes to company law. How is it going to impact on companies and the people that will be attending the seminar? How important is it for these professionals to get up to speed with these major changes?
It's extremely important. You can't I can't emphasize it enough. There have been changes that have been in discussion for about 7 years, and then the government managed to effectively make most of them effective during the December break. So there's already changes that people should be aware of and implementing. And then there are changes that are pending, but probably coming through in about April this year. So, anyone involved in the sort of as a stakeholder in the company, whether it's a shareholder, a director, a public officer, an accountant, a company secretary, needs to be very aware of the changes and how they implement the sort of the activities of the company.
So, how significant are these amendments and what impact will they have on businesses in South Africa? And are we talking
Yeah.
SMEs as well as large corporates?
Yeah, so the changes range throughout. So the larger changes are, probably more directed towards the large corporates, your listed environment, your large public companies, and your state-owned companies. They are the ones that basically they need to do the most to abide by the new changes, changes to the annual general meetings, to the social and ethics committee. Those are two very important ones that have been implemented already. But there are future ones that are coming that will impact everyone. So one that's always quite controversial is the remuneration of directors and public officers. Um, in the listed environment, it's quite well documented and the information's out there, but the individuals in the private companies, your small little companies, if they pass certain thresholds, they'll also have to report their information out into the public, which is a massive change for those companies that they might not be well aware of. But obviously they'll need to abide by those changes as well.
So, as guest speaker, what aspects of the amendments will you be focusing on?
So there's about 20 changes, but obviously some of them are sort of technical, that we can sort of have a few moments with, where the company records are kept. The major ones are obviously your AGM changes, your social and ethics committee changes, and then the remunerations. Those are probably your big three. But linked to that are other ones that come into play quite often. So share buybacks, repurchasing, that's been made a little bit more simpler or simplified. There's been financial assistance. So within a group environment, if there's loans or guarantees between different companies, that's also been made a little bit simpler. There are changes to certain rules with mergers and acquisitions that may or may not impact certain companies. And then, items that might impact BE transactions, those are also important to be aware of. And then obviously the one in the background is liability of directors. They've extended that to capture it for a longer period of time. So directors need to be very aware of their roles and responsibilities under the Act.
Are there any specific industries that will be affected more significantly by these changes? But already I asked that question,
Yeah.
but what comes to mind is that it seems it goes right across the board, does it
No,
not?
so yeah, so it doesn't matter, whether you're providing a sort of a loan or whether you servicing cars. If if you're under the Companies Act, you're going to be impacted. Um, Obviously, the financial and your larger institutions are generally, more impacted by the regulatory changes just because of the environment that they work in. So your financial type companies, insurance companies are generally the ones that need to abide by these rules. Um, a lot more, be cognizant of them. But quite frankly, anyone who has a company, even if you're a single shareholder, single director, you need to be aware of these changes. It obviously won't impact you as much, but it will impact you at some level.
So, Andrew, has this come at the right time as far as South Africa is concerned? And are these changes kind of in keeping with global trends?
So there are. There's a lot of red tape, and everyone always talks about the red tape on companies. So these changes have come at the right time. They, quite frankly, some of them are overdue. Some of the sort of the activities on smaller companies have been lessened, and they should have been lessened, years ago. But unfortunately, things do take time, and we've had change of governments and change of ministers. So they have changed. The one thing to bear in mind is obviously with this grey listing, it's a dirty word out there, but anything linked with sort of ownership or beneficial ownership, or interest in the company, has required changes to the Act. Some of the changes were rushed through quite quickly at the time when we were grey listed, and there are additional changes that have been embedded and future ones that will come, just to try and take us off that list to obviously improve the local sort of standing of our economy and our country. So those are absolutely essential as far as changes are needed.
Anything else we need to know about this event tomorrow? And is there still space and time available to book to attend this event?
So, from what I understand, there is space and there is time. I think the best thing to do is probably get hold of Amal. Whether it's on their telephone number, I think it's 031 207 3381, or their email address info@amal.co.za, and then they can see if there's any space available. I'm sure they can squeeze any last latecomers in as well.
Are you taking this around the country or is this a once
No,
off?
just a local, just for local Durban individuals. So, depending on the update, we can take it around the country, but effectively, we want to try and educate our local businesses and make sure that they are fully aware of the changes that they need to be aware of going forward.
Finally, are there going to be any future tax implications? I think that's always top of head when people,
Yeah. So
hear about changes.
Yeah, so the annual budget is coming, and although I'm not a tax specialist, I'm involved in it and interested in any changes that might come. So I don't think there's going to be any massive structural changes. I think we in a sort of a consolidatory period, but I understand that there will be future events effectively discussing what might come out of the budget. Hopefully, no surprises, but there will be a few tweaks here and there.
Okay, please God, nothing major. We can't afford it. Thank you.
No, exactly.
Thank you indeed for your time and insights, Andrew Davidson, partner at Bowman's. Nice talking to you. God bless.
Only a pleasure, Judy. Keep well.
It is exactly 9:50 and standing by to talk to us to wrap up the show this morning is Nazim Adam, a Palestine Solidarity Alliance coordinator. And of course, you've guessed it right. We're going to talk about the genocide, Hamas, and the man with the God complex, none other than Donald Trump. Stay with us.